title and me not turning on my microphone would help. As I was saying, I am Robert the Monster among Marks Drap. I am by myself, flying solo, both the heavy metal hippie and I, this last week after the go home show for Raw. We got a little bit of a bad news, life throwing us curveballs and whatnot, but I am here tonight to talk about the Manchester United Kingdom, the English showing of Raw, which was 24 hours removed from Crown Jewel. We get a little bit of start with the highlights. We get a start with a bit of the recap from Crown Jewel and how Baron Corbin influenced the outcome of the the Universal Championship match by hitting Strowman over the shoulders with the Universal Championship before the match began, and then Lesnar hitting 5 F5s on Strowman before finally managing to score the pinfall victory. We are actually 2 weeks away, 12 days now away from Survivor Series. Personally, I am very much looking forward to Survivor Series because some of the matches on the card are going to be amazing. Those matches being Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch. That's got some decent storyline heading into it. Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles was good last year, and I want to see AJ pull out a victory this time. It's going to be The Bar versus the Raw Tag Team Champions, which I will get to here in a minute. Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And the two traditional 5-on-5 men's and women's championship. Speaking of those performers, acting general manager Baron Corbin comes out to the ring. He's got the entire heel locker room standing at the top of the ramp, along with a security detail up in the front. And he says, well, when you're the general manager, you need additional security, so that's why I've got these guys right here. And to his credit, he starts talking about how he's going to field the 5-on-5 men's team, and he's going to be the captain. But he is too busy with managerial duties, he will not be performing. He will not be competing in the 5-on-5 match. But he also makes mention of the fact that Stephanie McMahon will show up next week to address Shane McMahon stealing the World Cup at Crown Jewel. Because for those of you who did not watch, like myself, Shane McMahon came in last minute as Dolph Ziggler was about to be declared champion via forfeit because The Miz got injured. And Shane McMahon said, no. I'm the commissioner of SmackDown. I should get in this match. He gets in there and he actually wins. He says that the first 3 members of the men's team are going to be Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman, who he says who he said needed to learn respect, but will be a valuable member of the Survivor Series team once he's learned that lesson. I don't really usually harp on the storyline inaccuracies too much. I generally try not to focus too big on this, but on what planet would I ever put somebody that I just screwed over on the team that I want to win. I mean, I understand it. I get that in the sense of Smarky knowing what's going on behind the scenes and the fact that Roman's leukemia, and again, get well soon, please, Roman. Roman's announcement was a very big blow and has had a massive effect on all of the plans that were going forward to be put into place. But that being that side of that argument, you also have to wonder if they're scrambling this hard to just go back to the default of SmackDown versus Raw. How are they going to get me invested in this? I mean, there's not really a good chance that they're going to do it, but we'll see what Shane O'Mac has to say tonight. That being said, he also announces that the female team will be headed by Captain Alexa Bliss, who comes out to start talking. And before she can really get going, Kurt Angle comes out and his music hits, and he says that since he led Raw's tag team Survivor Series team to victory last year, he should be the captain. He should be on this team. Corbin starts, no, go away. And Angle starts baiting him. Corbin accepts that a match for later on in the evening, with the stipulation that should Angle win, he will be not only on the team, but he will be team captain. Okay, fine. Alexa Bliss tried to start again, but she is then interrupted by Braun Strowman's roar. He comes down to nab at Corbin. He doesn't even come down with a microphone. He's just boom. As soon as his music hit, I thought this was really cool. He comes out, all of the wrestlers that did not move in the beginning just didn't leave. They part and let Strowman through. And the boot that he gives to the first security guy, I swear his head must have went clear to the cheap seats. He starts destroying everything at ringside, and it is beautiful. Loved it. It was great. But then he goes to get Corbin. Corbin's like, oh yeah, come on. And then I'm going to duck out right. And then I'm going to run away. And he runs. He actually gets up the ramp. The wrestlers at the top of the ramp have now decided now is the time to attack the monster among men, who just plows right through them, just taking half of them from almost halfway down the ramp to the top of the ramp, and then busting through them and going and chasing Corbin for the rest of the show, which was dumb. I mean, this is bonus dumb. Like this didn't... I try not... Again, like I said, I try to pick the positives in the fact that you can't put Strowman on your team. You can't do it. And they did it. Now I want to see how they're going to do it. And I don't like the way that they're doing it currently. So, moving on. I'm not going to talk about the main event yet. God, this I didn't take notes because I'm terrible at notes. But I do remember the order of the show. We get Natalya with Bayley and Sasha versus the Riot Squad. This was an okay match. I didn't really care too much about it. Natalya, before the match, is seen talking backstage about how she picked up her late father, Jim the Anvil Neidhart's trademark sunglasses and was wearing them to the ring. The law of WWE writing almost specifically states that any prop or any attention you draw to a normally inconsequential thing, that thing is going to be the centerpiece for this next part. Now, during the match, Ruby Riott, during the late segments of this match, Ruby Riott is outside the ring. Sarah Logan's in the ring with Natalya, who's got the hot tag, took her down, and goes to put her in the and has her in the sharpshooter. Ruby Riott snaps the sunglasses in half, throws them down, stomps on them, and apparently Natalya is just so, lost, and I completely get that. That she can't continue the match, ends up going to the outside to clutch the broken pieces, and they both get counted out. This match ends in a no contest, double count out. Again, having the personal experience that I have, if I were to lose or have destroyed a item from a loved one who has passed, especially someone as close as my father, thankfully, who still remains among us. If I were to lose it, I don't know what I would do. If it was to be broken by somebody who I was in a literal fight with, a literal, I'm fighting you, and one of your buddies has decided to go in and grab something that I was holding, and oh look, this thing, and I break it. I don't think that my personal response would be to start weeping. And I don't think that Natalya can fake cry. I can't fake cry. I don't do it. So, you write better than that. If you are you can tell in 3 seconds if somebody's act is going in the wrong direction. And personally, if I was Banks or Bailey, I'd have been like, you get mad, start tearing shit up. This is going badly. The whole crowd was dead silent for it. So, make of that what you will. Oh God, what did we have next? Oh yes, Jinder Mahal faced Apollo Crews. Personally, this match was not terrible, but I didn't really care. It wasn't anything too terribly important to me, so meh. I just as soon not need to watch it, to be honest. The finish comes when, impressively, Apollo Crews manages to lift press Jinder Mahal. Now, Jinder is not a small man. Like, he is big. And for Apollo Crews to get him up there, get him all the way up and hold him for a few seconds before dropping him and then doing the standing shooting star press, that to me was just absolutely insane. Like the screaming of the children outside who are playing for whatever reason. I do want to apologize. Let's see here. My notes from this website don't seem to want to be loading, but there are worse things. I do like that. I do like that Apollo Crews is getting more screen time. It really works out well in that it's time to start seeing Apollo Crews and in a light that really gives us more, gives us something to really care about. Um, he even cut a promo, a video, one of the selfie promos beforehand, um, saying, that ever since he moved away from Titus Worldwide, how people keep saying he's got potential, and it's kind of irritating because when he hears the word potential, he just hears you haven't won a lot of matches, so I'm going to start stacking wins. So, good on you. Develop a personality and show it to me. I am okay with this. Um, really, the thing I didn't like was that we have more of Jinder Mahal. Just Jinder's not untalented. It's just I don't think that there are certain men on the roster that just deserve a better shake, and he got one of the best. So I imagine it's going to be kind of soon before I'm sorry, it's going to be kind of a long time before we get anything, terribly important for him to do anyway. Next up we had we've got a view of a lot of Dolph Ziggler in the ring talking about how he was robbed. How he should have had that win, that he should have been the one to be called the best in the world, because Shane McMahon is not the best in the world. He is just somebody who forced his way into the match. Like, he was not even a competitor, and he just forced his way in and got the sneaky victory over him. And in Ziggler's defense, he's not wrong. Ziggler is interrupted by Elias, who makes mention of a few famous English people, English musicians that I don't know. I'm not going to say I do. Elias then mentions, or his local pop for the for the night was, they told me if I play this song in front of you all, that they will get Oasis back together again. And he starts playing this song, and it's very much, it's got and Corey Graves was right, actually, in this one. It had the sound of Last Dance with Mary Jane by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So, fine, do your thing. I don't care. Dolph's like, listen, get yourself down in the ring. We'll have a scrap. And this was a, okay match. Again, I wasn't really impressed by it. It didn't really, shock me to my core as far as things that have happened on Raw. But Elias gets the clean victory with Drift Away after a serviceable match with Dolph Ziggler. A rivalry between these two, I almost want to say it feels like a passing of the torch. And what I mean by that is the following. That Dolph Ziggler is not wrong when he says he's the workhorse of WWE. He really is. He's always been in the upper mid card, and his work rate has been impressive. His his sacrifices for the company to go into a feud with anybody on the roster and put him over, and it's been great. And I feel like it's a tragedy that he hasn't had more world championship runs than he has. That being said, this late in his career, it's a little late to be trying to push the button on that, so I don't see them doing it. And therefore, he will not be much longer for the company. I really don't see it. And I'm sure my tag team partner would ring in with how wrong I am. And I would love to have that. I can't wait to have that discussion. As a matter of fact, but Elias hits the drift away, gets the clean victory on this one. Had a few smart moments where he was either breaking the count by putting his foot under or on the rope, and it was a very good back and forth, but it's not. It's the stepping stone feud, and that's okay. You need that. Next up, let's talk about, oh goodness me, a heartbreaker in this one. Seth Rollins comes out with both tag team championships draped around his neck. They're belted up behind his shoulders, and they're sitting right here on the front, and he's wearing the Intercontinental Championship. And he's like, listen, I can't understand why Dean has done what he's done. I would ask him to come out here, but he will not come out here. I know he's here, but he won't come out. If I call him out again, it's just not going to get me anywhere. So, since I very well can't defend 3 titles at once, and that's when Baron Corbin cuts him off and says, you can, and you are going to defend the Raw Tag Team Championships against these guys. And it's AOP with Drake Maverick. They come down to the ring. It was beautiful in that Seth Rollins put on a damn good match, just a testament to how hard he can work, how well he can do in the division, in any setup, really. They completely did him right, and he put forth a valiant effort, had a lot of offense, but he didn't win. There was no way he could win. And so, with this loss to AOP, they are now the Raw Tag Team champions. And I listened a bit to Connor, a.k.a. OK Fabe. I listened to his podcast on this earlier in the day. He actually he put forth the question, who the hell are you going to put in the way of AOP? That would get the job done, that would really give a good match, that would thinking how to word this, that would really do justice to the tag team division. You can't do the B team because I think that Bo Dallas is injured. The Revival have been squashed. I would like to say the Ascension, but I don't think that they that their stock is high enough currently. You got Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. That's it. That is the extent of the tag team division here on. Oh, I'm sorry. You also have Ziggler and McIntyre, who are still totes a team, according to Ziggler, but I don't see them tagging anymore. I really don't. That's done. So it's going to be kind of hard. It's kind of hard to see where they're going to be going. But after a barn burner of a damn good handicap match, which I wouldn't mind seeing. I mean, WWE, and Connor also said this. He's like, I don't see WWE ever putting together the best of the tag handicap matches, but this would be on that DVD if it existed. What did we have next? Oh, Ronda Rousey stealing the show with a amazing promo. Basically saying that she knows that Becky Lynch is really good, but she is who she is. Becky Lynch may be the man, but she's the baddest bitch on the planet. She's been who she's been, and she actually brought up legit, like, I'm assuming, points about who Becky Lynch was and who Ronda Rousey was at comparative ages. Like, when you were doing this, I was busy, getting my ass kicked. My mom would wake me up trying to break my arm. These things that I've done, I've been a fighter my whole life, and you haven't. So, you don't stand a chance. Nia Jax comes out, says, you know what, we know that you're going to... I can't wait to see you go to Survivor Series, break Becky Lynch's arm and win. And when you're done, I'm going to be waiting for my chance at you. It's at this point, Ember Moon comes out. No microphone for her. It is a match between Nia Jax and Ember Moon that Ember Moon loses. This one was actually a whole hell of a lot better than the last match between these two. But at the end, after, after Nia Jax wins, Tamina comes out and gives Ember Moon a Samoan drop. And I guess that Nia Jax and Tamina are either feuding or going to tag, and they're going to start the women's tag team division that I still don't believe needs to exist. I don't think it needs to be a thing. I will not defend this. I don't have to. I don't see the need in a division where there's so many, there's not really enough women featured anyway. I mean, if you wanted to pad out the third hour or the second hour, you could have more women on. It's just a thing that could happen. But apparently Alexa Bliss has been watching all of the women's matches this week, and it is trying to determine who her team will be. Let's see what else was there. Because I don't know. Oh yeah, Renee, not Renee. One of the other, JoJo, I think it was. JoJo was interviewing Baron Corbin, who is backstage in a, we'll call it, storage area, and it's at this point Braun Strowman comes kicking down the door, goes chasing after Baron Corbin can't catch him. And Baron Corbin makes the announcement during the thing that since he's busy and he's had to take a meeting, he will not be able to face Kurt Angle for the main event. Instead, he will face Drew McIntyre. I know there are a lot of matches that are phenomenal, that are just some of the best things you could ever spend time watching. There's a host of NXT matches that I want to just right now. There's some damn good main roster ones that also jump to mind. This was not. This definitely was one of the most horrific showings. But before we get there, we get a do-nothing match between Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor. Finn loses via pinfall, I believe. Lio Rush distracts, gives Lashley the opportunity to capitalize and get the win. Before Lio Rush can start, bragging and chanting and doing all these things and cutting his promo, Drew McIntyre comes down, goes nose to nose with Bobby Lashley, and he's daring him to fight. And Lio Rush is like, no, not, hold off on, big man. Don't do it. Not the time. Don't do it. Next time, later, we'll get him at another point. Not tonight. Don't do it. And they, slide out of the ring, and Drew actually helps Finn Balor to his feet. And I thought, cut to commercial, have it just be Drew in the ring. That's fine. Fellow countrymen under the banner of being from the United Kingdom, in that a lot of Scotsmen will say they're not from the United Kingdom. A lot of Irishmen also argue that they are not a part of the United Kingdom, and that's fine. That's okay. I don't know how to feel about that because I'm an American and I don't really... That's not a thing. But I understand it. That I can get that. Like, that's a connection I can make. He gets Finn to his feet, throws him into the ropes, and Claymore kicks him. Kurt Angle comes out, starts their match, actually hits the Angle Slam on Drew McIntyre. Drew rolls out of the ring before there can be a pinfall attempt. Drew eventually gets the upper hand once again and just decimates Angle. Towards the end, hits the Claymore kick on Angle. Doesn't go for the pinfall. Taunts Angle, like, here's my leg. I'll put my hands behind my back. You can try and get me off my feet. Go for it. Only for Angle to, get up off the mat after being beat down for several successive minutes. Tries to shoot the leg and cut his, momentum into the ankle lock. Can't do it. Drew stands in front of him a second time, and this is where the match really dragged out, because it was 2 or 3 minutes in between each one, with Drew just staring at Angle, who's breathing heavily, who's having a hard time, and offers the leg again, clubs him down. It's at this point he gets Angle off the mat, gripping the front of his face, is like, You're an embarrassment to yourself. You're an embarrassment to your family. You're an embarrassment to all these people. You can't keep up with us no more. You're done. I'm gonna finish you. Come on, let's end this. Angle shoots the leg, surprises McIntyre, gets the ankle lock on him. There's a few minutes of tense. Oh, is Kurt gonna manage to pull out a victory here? Before McIntyre rolls over, boots Angle off, gets up, delivers an Angle slam to Angle, and then locks in the ankle lock, which I'm not going to call a full ankle lock because of how he finished it. He grabbed the ankle and he was standing tall and he had it, and then he kind of fell back and made it a knee bar because he wrapped his legs around Angle's leg to keep him from going anywhere. This forces Kurt Angle to tap out. And that's how we close the show. It was heartbreaking to watch this. Devastating to see them do this in the end. But as much as I absolutely detested it, I kind of understand it from the smart angle. When you look at it this way, Kurt Angle is not going to be, they said it, they're like, oh, Kurt's not only not going to be team captain, but I think he's done in the ring. Was this Angle passing the torch in a sense? Maybe. Maybe he wanted to put over Drew McIntyre as a singles competitor, as somebody who's gifted in the ring, and really let him do what he needed to do. Do I think that Angle's done with the WWE? No. I actually expect that here in the next couple months, maybe Survivor Series, he's going to screw over Baron Corbin somehow, and that's how we're going to get Angle back in the authority angle. But as the wise man once said, these are just my humble opinions. I want to know what you guys have to think. Do you think that Kurt Angle is done in the ring? Do you think he needs to be on TV anymore? Or is it time for him to ride off into the sunset and enjoy being a Hall of Famer? I want to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share all those wonderful things down below. Hit the bell for the notifications. Follow the show on Twitter at InMoshPit. I'm Robert the Monster Among Marks Drap. Find me on Twitter at Rob's Random Roms. And I will see you all tomorrow night for the SmackDown Live review. Later. That was the wrong button.